How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which had quite the pullback inside of the market. If you guys remember what I said in my previous video, you want to see if you can hold support at $22.50. We actually ended up seeing a low of $22.41, so I was off by 9 cents. And as far as what we are seeing in the market as a whole for the tech sector, we are noticing there is quite a change. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $22.63, being down 7.93%. On the low, it tested $22.41, and then on the high, testing $24.52. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 28.718 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 34.368 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we saw some pressure on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 35.62. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So you can see Lucid is in a strong downtrend, trading below all of our major moving averages, which tells us it's in a bear market. So if you guys remember what I said in the previous video, if it goes below $22.50, it could be some max pain to where it could get down to around $20. Of course, we're able to actually show some strength. We held support at $22.41. So the next level you're going to want to keep an eye on now is it going to be able to hold $22 if it tests that area? If it can't hold $22, that's where we could see it come back down here to $21.09. So keep an eye on that. If you're looking to see a reversal from Lucid, then you need to see it being able to get above $25. I've said this many times before. And upon reclaiming $25, it needs to get to the 21-day EMA at $27.45. And with the current conditions we have inside of the market, that is a lot to ask. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow and if it could hold up this $22 level. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for March the 3rd, we have Walleye Capital LLC that went in with puts with a value of 22,500 shares. And then we also have Parkside Financial Bank and Trust that purchased 200 shares. And that's all we have as of late. We already gone through the others in previous videos. As we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 55.33%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.8 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 100,000, updated 14 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 18.31%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of March the 1st, it was at 62.03. And then for the close of the second being at 55.33. So one thing that remains the same, Lucid does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflows at 136 and then on the outflows at 146. So we ended up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 5.20. On the the medium, it was 82.37. And then on the small, it was 48.13. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.78. And then on the medium, it was 92.32. And then on the small, it was 51.79. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, March the 3rd, we have an inflow of 3.41 million. And we also did see an inflow on March the 2nd of 7.33 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.75%. So it continues to be in a consistent range for Lucid. So we know there are many who are holding on to their positions, and we know there's a lot of big money that's invested in this play. So as long as we see weakness inside of the tech sector, I can see Lucid continuing to face headwinds in regards to the stock price. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, let's talk about the change in the price target. So Morgan Stanley came out and said, you know what, we're going to be cutting our price target from $16 all the way down to $12. So many are saying this had an impact on the stock selling off. And this does make a lot of sense due to the fact that earnings was not spectacular whatsoever. We also talked about that on the channel, and there's going to be some changes, especially going into the year that we're going to have in regards to interest rate hikes. So having this change, some people may see this as an opportunity. For myself, I want to see this stock go below $20, and depending on what kind of fashion it actually does that, because I don't want to catch myself in the middle of a falling knife, then I'll be thinking about getting into a position. Do I see Lucid getting to $12 at some point this year? Hey, it may be a possibility due to the fact that they don't have the revenues or even the profits to justify the current valuation that they are trading at. But that is one thing that we're all clear about. This is a speculative play, but we all know it is catalyst driven. So that's why we keep it on our watch list. In regards to the price action now, what is very key, you want to see if it can continue to hold up 22.50 or just staying above 22.50. It tested 22.41 on the day, and if it does break this level, then the next area of support you want to see hold up will be right at $22. And breaking through $22, that's where I can see, you know what? Yes, there's a good chance that we're going to be getting below $20 very soon. Also, if you're looking for a bullish reversal in this stock, like I said in the previous video, it needs to hold up $25. And then upon getting to $25, it needs to get above the 21-day EMA, which is around $27.45. No surprises. I've told you guys, I don't see any strength until it gets above $27.50. And when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions have continued to load up on shares. Plus, on top of that, for the short interest, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. But you need to make sure that there's demand inside of the market, that there's buying volume. If you're not going to be getting that, it's going to continue to pull back. And with the volatility that we have been seeing, it's been affecting a lot of plays, especially inside of the tech sector, or just stocks that trade at high valuation. So this is just one thing that you want to be aware of. Do your homework, do your due diligence, and then figure out what would be the right entry for you. And then upon doing that, just make sure to know, hey, what price target am I looking for this stock? You don't need to depend on an analyst. You got to look at what the projections look like, and then you see, well, you know what? They do have some potential. This is where I possibly see them going, and this is where I'd want to sell the stock when it gets that particular price. Again, it's going to be different for everybody, so I just want to make sure I'm being clear about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.